Okay. Hey, happy Labor Day, everyone. My name is Sal Cosentino. I'm your systems cloud architect for in production by INC2. It's been a while. Well, just thought I'd bring you guys a little bit of a quick update on things that's been going on and whatnot. And again, I'm working on some few projects and whatnot, and try to get some new content out there. It's been really fun doing a lot of this content these last couple months, but focusing on getting some more stuff out there and seeing how that works with everybody else and see how that works with the analytics and whatnot and the interests. You know, is is something that I would want to make sure that when we're pulling out that content, some people are asking me they want 5 minute videos, some people are asking me they want 6 minute videos, some people they want 10 minutes. You know, there are some people that want 2 hours and whatnot and classes. Again, I prefer the classes, the live classes. Again, you're more than welcome to give me a shout out on my WhatsApp channel if you guys want to add in. I'll set up the link in the description below of the YouTube video. So, you know, just kind of understand that, I am behind the scenes. I'm working on a lot of stuff here. So it's been a long time since I threw all one of these videos. And again, why not do it today on the 1st of September, long weekend. We all had a great long weekend with our families and whatnot. And I did too. I still am. But I always have time for you guys to make sure that my content gets out there and answers whatever questions you guys have in the foreground, right? So this video today, I want to touch base on ESXI. It's one of those products that's been open, concept. You just need to download it from the Broadcom website. If you haven't done so, set up your accounts. There are videos out there that you can. I think I have a video on how to set up the Broadcom website, but just set up your accounts if you haven't done so. Issue with this given IP. Let's see what's going on here. I guess the link was dead. That's fine. Okay, there we go. So, everybody's got their own accounts. I do have a video, I think, on my YouTube channel. I just got to look into it where I do set up the account. Um, set up your account. Set up your new account if you haven't done so. This is where you're going to download all your VMware, uh, you know, appliances, your VMware software, your VMware Workstation Pro, your VMware ESXIs, your vSphere clients, whatever VMware appliance you have or hardware that you use on-prem and in the cloud. This is where you're going to set up your account and download that software for that piece of software for that, right? So, they have tons of products here that you're more than welcome to use, right? They have stuff for storage, they have stuff for um, enterprise, they have stuff for mainframe. Set up your account, set up your account, set up your account. I don't want to set it up in this video again, but make sure you set up your account. I do have all the instructions on another video. This is just going to be some one-off here where I'm going to do one-on-one with you guys and kind of get you going, right? So I'm not going to set it, but I want you guys to set up your accounts here. The reason, okay, so what I did was I created a domain controller. I have my domain controller here. And I also have a hypervisor that I created. It's only 24 gigs. I created this, I created the DNS record, the AA record. I created all that stuff. within my domains, right? And this domain controller, I have many. I created my forward lookup zones and my reverse lookup zones, right? So everything in here is basically, you know, my on-premises environments just for testing purposes. I have a few servers here, not a big deal. They're all running static IPs. Just for testing purposes. This was actually an old system that I created a year ago, and I no longer use. But again, I was able to fix this server and use it for testing and breaking and fixing and whatnot. And right here we have our AD Connect and PuTTY. So if we're looking at our, and then I have my MBAM server that I'm working on. And again, that's another video that I want to help you guys with. You have your advanced group policy management, DART, ABV, MEDV, UEV. So that's something different here that I'm also actually working on currently. But this video is where I wanted to touch base. With ESXI, your free version, I think it's only 60 days. And typically what happens is once I log into this, I'm able to log into this um, server here. I'll show you what I mean. And I'm going to walk through the whole process of um, giving us and extending that 60 days for another 60 days, which gives us 4 months of use, especially when you're practicing and you're going for that exam. You have yourself some time to troubleshoot and get your wheels in motion so that you're able to know where you're doing and how. So so there is a way to renew that evaluation license that you get. It's free now with Broadcom, but I have old servers that I wanted to log into, and sometimes in order for me to get that done, I would log into those old servers that I had from 2019, and old servers, and these are servers that I want to work on because I have a lot of information that's on it. So these are some things that I want to do. Um, you know, so in this case, I created this E ESXI host client, and I should be able to log in. Okay, so it should be able to log me in. All right, perfect. So you'll get the error, and I think it's best to kind of show you um, the error itself that you're going to receive. Um, I want to show you the errors that you're going to get, so that way it's going to be in contact. So or what we'll do is together is sometimes you'll get a server and you'll have like, oh, it doesn't work, doesn't allow you to work and whatnot, schedule, right? So the first thing I want you guys to do is I want you to put the server um, I want you to put the server. First thing I want you to do is put the timeout to off so that it doesn't time out. And then I want you to auto refresh your screen. Um, Another thing I want you to do is on the host itself, I want you to click on the host, and you'll see that this license will expire in 60 days, and you'll see it on like a red where it's expired, and you'll get like a little triangle here. What I want you to do is I want you to go down to enter maintenance mode. And this is where we're going to enter maintenance mode. First things first, I want you guys to enter in maintenance mode. And once you enter in maintenance mode, you're going to say, are you sure you want to put this host the meetings mode, and I want you to press yes. So as you'll see the recent tasks, it's now completed. You're now in maintenance mode. Um, your next service is to enable secure shell SSH and enable ESXI shell H, right? So one at a time, you're going to enable the start that service, and then that'll be a host. You should disable the SSH unless it's necessary, and you're able to run the actions and enable the ESXI shell. So once that's done and it's been enabled, you'll see that you'll have a yellow triangle there. After you do a refresh, you should still see that. And what I want you to do is I want you to download Putty. Okay, and here's Putty inactive, and I want you to download Putty if you haven't done so. If not, just download it or drag it, or see, for example, we don't have it installed here. So what I'll do is I will either download it from the website, or what I'll do is I will transfer the files over and give the files, enable the shared folders here in the virtual machine, and then I'll give access to my server, make sure that it's always on and or enabled until next power off, right? It doesn't matter. And then map that to our network drive, and then that will be checked off because that's the only one that I want to build for right now. And then I will hit, or I can check the properties, right? And rename it to whatever I want, right? So I have my attributes, change my host path, right, based on my current uh, mapped location in my physical drive, right? So this is actually on my physical drive. Remember what we talked about when we designed our infrastructure, right? When we designed our infrastructure here, we had our laptop, right? Our laptop, right? And then here's our internet, right? On premises, right? So this is all on premises. Uh, this would be all on premises, right? To the internet. So what I and this is obviously our hypervisor 2. So we have our hypervisor 2 software that's installed, and that's our VM VMware workstation, right? Pro, and I want you guys to download 17. Okay, change this to a little bit smaller, right? And this is our hypervisor 2. This is called hypervisor 2. Visor 2, 2. Okay? And this is our laptop or desktop, right? And this will have Windows 10 or 11 Pro or Enterprise or Home. Okay, just make sure that's that. So that software is in there, and we build our machines. What happens is in this hypervisor 2, I'll build my machines. I'll build my small machines, right? So I'll have my 4 or 5 machines here based on whatever I want. And again, I'll have my ESXI, and again I'll have my ESXI running, and then connect that to the internet, and then within there I'm able to read my ESXI, right? And you know, and that'll kind of build will build around the on-prem or my on-premises environment, right? So this will act as my on-premises, right? Right, basically from my laptop. So accessing my physical laptop, right? I'm able to now, create my connections, my networking, and I'm able to run my ESXi server as you kind of see right here, right? From my domain controller. So within my domain controller, I have my hypervisor running physically. So basically, in my picture, you'll have this machine here. This machine here, for example, would be my ESXi hypervisor, right? In real life, it's a physical machine or a virtual machine, but in this case, it's virtual ESXi hypervisor machine, right? And uh, this hypervisor, sits on the operating system, right? And that's where my ESXi software is running. Now, what happens is if you look at it, you're supposed to set this up and manage this stuff, and I have videos on how to do that already. Just look up. You can do a search on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. If you go to my main page, and at the top there's a search button, I recommend you guys go there and look up ESXi videos. That'll show you how I designed all this a while back. It's not licensed anymore, and I'm trying to extend it a little bit more because I want to show you guys specific features that it had. And the only way to extend it, except for licensing, purchasing a licensing, which is what I recommend, or going through your Broadcom accounts to purchase those license. In this lab environment, which is what I'm making here, we're going to extend it another 2 days. Again, your hypervisors can be way bigger. It can have more CPU, it can have more RAM. It all depends on your system and what you gave it. You know, to each its own, right? Everybody's got their own way of doing things, right? So I know for me, my physical hardware here, again, I give it 2 processors, 1 core per processor. It could be different, and I enabled the VTX ETP for hypervisor. Right, and I gave myself 2 disks. There was a reason why in my different network adapters, 4 network adapters, which is sort of a common practice, is give yourself two disks and 2 network adapters. And the reason why I had 2 disks is one is a software, and the other disk is set up as more of like a uh like different software images or ISO images or just the VMX file images, the VM images, so that those all any updates or any changes, I had that extra terabyte, right? Um, you know, uh, Again, these custom VMs again are direct for my on-premises environment for them to talk. It's sort of like your VLANs, right? And again, your VLANs are important, right? And if they're not on the same VLAN, they cannot communicate with each other. So I stress that out big time. So when you're putting them on the VLAN, just make sure that you're putting them all on the same VLAN. That way they're communicating with each other and those machines are communicating with each other, right? If you do not want to put them on the same VLAN, just make sure you change the network. It's the same thing. It's called VMNet, right? And you have 19 of them, right? So, if I wanted to give it NAT for internet, I can give it NAT. If I want to do bridge where I'm connected directly to my network, then I'll use the bridge network. It's totally up to you on how you want to do it. You have your class A and your class B addresses. I'm not going to discuss any of that right now, but you have that in the back of your mind and when you're setting up your network and infrastructure, right? So just remember this machine, it's just a physical laptop, right? So again, I just want to make sure that this is physical. This is physical laptop, right? And this is just software related. So this is just a piece of software. This is all software hypervisor, software, right? So this is all software based. right? And these are VMs, these are virtual machines, right? And again, when I created these virtual machines, these 4 virtual machines, I created with the best intention. This one here is my DC. Make this a little bit better for you so that you know. This is just an example, right? And this is my domain controller, right? Then I have my other machines that I want. But in this example, I'm using a two-prong approach in a real environment. Um, in a real environment, make this a little bit smaller. Okay. In a real environment, there's thousands of nodes for high availability. So, always have 2 for high availability, right? So always design your third, your second uh, set or second hypervisor or 3 hypervisors. That way you can, you have your active, your passive in a 3-tier approach, and just make sure you're giving yourself 2 drives and extra network cards for heartbeat mix and for other reasons. That way you have that set up and ready to go. So again, this is a trial instance, test environment. I want to show you guys a quick way on how to extend that product, right? And how to build your machines within it. So like, for example, I can build my machines. I'm going to build my MECM machine in here, my SCCM machine or web server machines or whatever servers I want to put in here and put my users in here or my employees in here. This is where I'm going to have my servers, right? There's companies that have got thousands of servers here, right? Then we can connect our vSphere clients within here. And again, I can show you guys how to set that up in another video. I'm going to show you guys how to set that up in another video by yourselves, for yourselves, right? And, manage that and see where we can go from there, right? And then you have your storage, your data store, which is what I'm going to show you where your ISOs are going to go and your standard networking ports. This is just standard stuff right now. I've started the service. I've entered the maintenance mode. I'm in the position where now I'm able to set up my putty, right? I can either download my putty, like I said, or if I want, I can set up my shared folders, which is what I did, right? I set up my shared folders for now. So if we go to this PC, go back to this PC, you'll see here at the bottom I have my shared folders. Within there is my server. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab 2012 and 2019, right? Just for shits and giggles. And I'm going to copy them and put them here, right? And I have my MECM configuration server, which is what I want for my MECM. And I'm going to just copy it. Give it a second while it does that. Shouldn't take that long. Again, remember, you need to set up your Broadcom account so you can download your ESXIs from the Broadcom. I think it's free. I would have to look into it. I'm not sure if ESXi is free. ESXi free I think for version 8. May be wrong, but let's double check. The free version is 60 days, obviously, right? And you need 2 physical CPUs per host, right? So that's what we did there. and 8 vCPUs for memory, right? So, right, the more you have, the better it is, obviously, right? But this is just a test environment. Yeah, there we go. I think this is where it says it's got a free environment here. They just introduced it. Um, right, so it has a free version, right? So there's a free version for that. For evaluation purposes, it's not the full version, but at least something. It doesn't tell me, and this is where you would download it. Obviously, when you sign in, you've got the 8.0.0. You can download the ISO. And again, it gives you after from 14 months without free option, the sad part is many will have already found the alternate ecosystem. But again, here's your ESXI version. You can download it here within Broadcom. Let me see if I can log in and show you, but I don't think it matters. But let me double check if I have it or not. But yeah, again, you should be able to download it on the Broadcom account. But you know what? Let's just do it. Just set up your account. It's pretty straightforward. I'll send you guys a link on how to do that. Or if you guys already did that in the beginning, please feel free to create your Broadcom accounts ASAP. I think if we go to YouTube, let me see if I can show you which video it was. That way you guys have this on this video. That way you guys are more than welcome to pause this video and go look at this video and connect and create your accounts. Slow. Okay. Okay, so if I'm looking for my in production by INC2, there's my, and if I go for VMware, see if I'm able to, there's my VMwares. I think it should be here. See if we have Broadcom here. Broad. I think it's one of these creating the machines. It's creating my machine. I think it's one of the creating virtual machines one. So create VM. It's one of the first ones that I built. Paper V part 2. Okay, let's look at my playlist. Let's go back here. In different locations and making changes to those and changing their canonical name. Their C attribute name, which is their country name. No, not here, guys. I apologize. I'm gonna find it for you guys. I'm in the wrong 10 and SE user 9. I will need to go into Azure AD. This one here.
Unlock a better way to do your job from the office
and
to the
skip that. So I should be here. Let's see if we find it here. This is creating a bit Azure. Okay, playlist. So we are going to go here. One of these two. Just gonna figure it out. All right, not here. This one. One of the two. Anyway, it's one of these two. Again, it's in here. You just got to do a little bit of research. We'll find it here. I think I created in one of the videos, but again, I'll have to look into it. Um, but I do have it. So here. All right, let's go back to here. Anyway, it's here. One of these ones. Let's see what VMware shows. Creating a VMware. That's it. Okay, here's one of my videos here. I'll put this one. Anyway, so it's okay. It is what it is. I thought I'd show you, but again, you create your video here. You create your username. Okay, I'm gonna log in for you guys. Okay, and I give you guys an example of what it looks like quickly. Give me a second. Okay. Again, once you create your account, so it won't allow me to do it here. Oh, that's right, because I'm on virtual network. I don't have NAT. Don't have NAT. I have to give it NAT. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. Let's do it on this page. All right. .com. .com. All right. Let's go to portal. Once I'm in my sign in, I'm gonna log in again on my computer. All right. Okay. And I'm gonna put my password in. So as I'm logging in, right, I should now be able to go to my down, like for example, just go to my entitlements, um, trials and betas, right, and then again when I go to trials and betas, VMware Cloud Foundation, and trials and betas should bring me to my There you go. So free down, there you go. So free downloads are available here. Again, first thing you click here, and then you scroll down to your ESXI, right? You would look for your ESXIs, and then you have your vSphere Hypervisor, and you have your Workstation Pro, you have your vCenter, your vCenter, your VMware tools, anything that you would find here, and then you would click on that, right? And then you click on the 8th release version, and then you would click on that. And there's all your drivers that you would download. But I believe that if we follow the instructions from here, you would need to find vSphere Hypervisor, right? So vSphere Hypervisor. So that's what you're looking for. You're looking for the vSphere Hypervisor. And it's for 8.0 update 3E, right? So update version 3E. So it's called vSphere Hypervisor. I'm going to go back to my vSphere Hypervisor. So I'm going to go back to that list, vSphere Hypervisor, and I'm going to click on that, and there's a release, right? So it's pretty straightforward, right? And this one's updated. All you need to do is not screening, but you'll need to do the screening first, and then you can download the version there. If you're looking for if you're looking for Workstation Pro, same thing. Remember, you got to get the cloud in order for that to work and set up the account information. So you got to set up your username, your password, your address, and whatnot, and go from there and then download it, right? This is where you would download it, right? So just remember my downloads, free software available here. And then this is where our VMware tools are, or Workstation Pro. So we would download our Workstation Pro here. And we're going for Windows, if you're using Windows, or for Linux machine, if you're installing it on a Red Hat or Ubuntu machine. So in this case, we're going to be using the latest version, 17.6. And again, you are agreeing to the terms, right? First. If it allows you to. If it allows you to. Right? Then you would go ahead and do that. I think this is the last one that's been updated. It should let you. If not, we will go one down. And I have a feeling that it's not going to work. So I'll have to go to 6.2 because of the, and then I would click on that if it lets me. If it lets me, it should let me, but okay. Let's go back one down. Let's go all the way down to this one here. And then do the updates. Should work. Yeah, see, that one works. So right now you're only able to download 17.5.2 on the free version. That's okay. Let's see if we can download the 17.6. Lets you. You're supposed to agree. Please click the term links. Term links. What term links? I don't get it. Never seen this before. I just click on it, works. So it says, please click the term links that acknowledge you agree by selecting the checkbox. So click the term link. Click the term link. Click the term link. Term link. Okay, click the term link. Then I guess once we click the term link, I should be able to now click on it. Okay, there we go. So click the terms and conditions. That's what it's telling you to do. So once you click the terms and conditions, then you're able to click on that. and you should now be able to see all the screening required. Now, screening required, like I said, is putting in your information. So make sure you have your information and follow those instructions. I'll get you the video for it where I created it. Pretty straightforward. Once that's done, you have your that out of the way. You should now be able to, and I'll send you guys this link as well too. The pictures. Maybe it'll help some of you. Maybe it won't. Maybe this video will help you, but you guys kind of get the gist of it. So, um, okay. I woke up in a new Bugatti. Okay, so all right, so I'm gonna skip this file because I know it's already there. So if I go back to my ESXi machine, right? This is all web-based. It uses HTML, HTML5. It doesn't use Adobe Flash anymore for all of you VMware gurus. So if I'm logging into my ESXi machine, again, I'm now able to move that software over um, to my data store, right? To my storage, right? So my storage is my data store. And again, within here, I'm able to, download or register a VM or put my stuff that's in here, my files. And this is sort of like my VMFS, my volumes. So anything in here has my whatever I put in here is where I'm going to store that data, right? So we'll go back to the data store. I click on this machine. I should be able to uh, open. Right? So I should be able to there we go. So open up the data store. And within here is where I'm going to keep all my images and my servers if I want to, right? So within here, these are where all my VMs are going to be in my storage, or it's going to be a data store that's strictly for software, ISO images, right? So I'll have my ISO images, right? So in this instance, um, this is my server 2019. I'm going to drag it, or I'm going to move it, and I'm going to move it to my ISO images. Oh, done. Should now move it. And I should have this is my machine. So if I'm moving this, I'm moving this to my ISOs. Now I'm gonna move. What happened? Oh, okay, let's see what happened here. Did anything move yet? No, it didn't move yet. So we'll just wait on that for that to happen. Run the drive. See if it copies. Did that copy? Guess it doesn't like me today. Okay, so let's go in here and let's upload another. Let's just upload the image again. I'm gonna upload this one and this one for now. This one at a time. So I'm going to upload by 2012. It should take a little bit of time here at the top. You'll see here at the bottom where it says one file with files, right? So this is where we're going to wait for that to happen. And I'm also going to upload another one. And this one's going to be my config manager. So it'll be my two files that I'm downloading right now. And if it moves it, it'd be great. That's okay. All right, as we're waiting, I want to go back to my drawing. Just remember again, when within your hypervisors, right? You've got your ESXi hypervisor software, and then on top of that is where we're building our VMs. So within here, we're building our VMs, right? So if I were to open up, so let's kind of break this down into a drawing, which kind of makes more sense. Um, if we're again, remember we're in our laptop, right? So this is all in our laptop and our hypervisor 2 software. So if I've got my hypervisors, I've got my, let's say I've got my one hypervisor, and within my one hypervisor is I've got my hypervisor 1. This is a hypervisor 1, right? I'll tell you what I mean. Typically what we're doing is we're doing it as it's more of a hypervisor 2 environment because it's test, but in real environments you'll have this type of um, effect, right? And this is going to be our ESXi hypervisor software, right? Because we're installing that. So once that software is installed, I can build my VMs on top of here, right? So I'll build my VMs. Uh, I'll build my 2 or 3 VMs, right? I think we had, if I'm not mistaken, right, I've got, test machines in here. I've got 2 VMs, and my Win server is going to be my test machine server that I built, all right? And it's going to be a small machine. And this one here has got 4 gigs, but I'm going to, well, it's powered off, right? But I should be able to give it more memory if it allows me to. And this one here is, I'm going to put my notes in here. I'm going to say this is for test environment. All right. Typically, you'll see people write notes in here and, any changes that are made so that they audit this stuff. But, when you're in an environment like this, it's always good to write your notes down. Sometimes it's best just to put dates, and, have logs of it. But again, it's all up to you and the company and how the company wants to work, or your architects or your engineers your lead engineers would want that to help out with certain things. And yeah, typically for contractors, you want your contractors writing in their notes and logging in and saying what they're doing. A lot of companies also have their cybersecurity team ask questions as to why they're logging in and what's the purpose of them being in this machine, right? So this is more for testing environment. So I'll put, let's say today's date, which is the 1st of September, right? Just because, I want to keep note on that, right? And again, here's where you can actually put changes that you made, or if you want to make any changes, that's totally up to you, right? I haven't installed that, so I'm not going to install that yet. This is off, should be off right now. So this is powered off because we're in guest mode. Gives me the opportunity to, doesn't allow me to make any changes to the hardware because we're just in a maintenance mode situation. But eventually what I'm going to do is I'm going to give myself, because it's a server, I'm going to give myself um, 2 cores or 4 cores because it's a heavy machine. So I'll give myself an extra 2 cores, 4 cores and 2 CPU, right? So I'll have that set up on that. Again, there's multiple machines here that I can, eventually turn on and off. Um, let's see why it's not moving. See what happens. I think it's because I'm in maintenance mode. That could be the reason why. But typically, what I like here is it gives you the answers as to why and results. So this will kind of help you understand why, right? So if we go down to the bottom here, oh, task gives me the errors, which is what I like. Let's wait till this finishes because I'm still uploading the files to the data store. So as we're waiting for that to finish, think it's still working, but let's see what happens. Should be downloading still, or moving, or saving that information. Okay, it's taking a little bit of time. That's fine, we'll come back. It's still uploading that file. One of them's complete, the other one's complete. We're at 66%. But I wanna see why I wasn't able to move that file. If you see it here on the task list, right? I'm able to show you what happens here 4 or 5 times. This will kind of explain why. It's at the current state. And I think the error means that it's because it's in maintenance mode. It doesn't allow to do that. But once I finish the maintenance mode, I'll go ahead and move that file for you guys, and I'll show you how that's done. Okay. Here's your networking. Again, if we're dealing with networking, we can work on the networking ports here. This is not important right now. Your virtual switch, what we would add to that, and the port groups within those uplinks, et cetera, et cetera. If we wanted to add another virtual switch, we would add a virtual switch here and give our uplink links, right, to our different links and whatever links discoveries I want. And then add those uplinks if I wanted to, and keep adding those uplinks, but I'm not going to do that there. Then there's a physical NIC, and this is where our physical NICs are. Again, if you look at our servers here, I think I have 3 more that are not in use. There you go. So 1, 2, 3. So those 3 I would go ahead and make that work. There, 1, 2, and 3, and then the 4th one, which is what's being in use right now. Here are the drivers for that. Let's refresh to see if there's anything different here. Here's our VM kernel NICs. This is where we can add our VM kernels, right? So each server by default has a VM kernel set, and it's connected to the management network, right? I'm not going to explain what that means. There's another class for that. It's a full class. Probably going to take a lot more time just to kind of explain all that to you guys. But this one here, the move the data store, is because I am in maintenance mode, and I can 100% guarantee that's what it is. So let's go ahead. Let's go back to our reason as to why we're here and why we're extending it. So I basically, in my host, I moved our host to maintenance mode. So it is in the evaluation mode, expires 60 days. So because I've already done this, what I'm going to do is remove it, and then put it back in again so that the license will expire in 60 days, right? So let's see if that allows me to do that. If it doesn't, then you can only do it once per one machine, right? So it only goes 4 months. So, this is sort of our eval mode, right? And, for testing purposes, right? And just before you went for that exam, you need that extra time. You don't have to reinstall it and reconfigure everything. You have uh, your licenses, right? So your licensing right here. So this is assign my license. If you have a license key, please go ahead and put it in. And this one, I'm not going to put this one in. I have one, but I'm not going to put it in because I'm using it for something else. But this one here, you would check the license and then work your way up, right? So this one here expires the 31st of October. So that gives us approximately 1 month, 2 months to be exact, right? That'll give us the features. So these are the features that are allowed. So you can play with whatever features you want. Refresh. All right. So that's that. If I want to join the domain, I can put my domain here. Okay, and then Here. Run the domain here. Okay. Did that work? It's not. Didn't work yet. Okay. That's okay. Take some time. Okay, so here's the failed option here. Here's my error message, and that's because I am in, this is still running here. So here's my running option. Taking a little bit of time. 1 second for that to complete running. Okay. Sometimes still running. Okay. All right. So now that I'm in here, this is where I'm enabling the two, and then you're gonna have to download the ESXi. Remember what I told you? You're going to have to drag and drop it onto the desktop, which is what I kind of did here, and then open it on my machine itself. It has to be on the machine that you're working on. And then I'm going to connect because it's in a virtual machine. It needs to connect to each other, and our VLAN need to work with each other, so it needs to communicate um, in our VLAN, right? So other than that, it won't work. All right, and just accept, connect it once. So if I try to open it here, as you can see, it'll probably not work. You'll see it won't work here. Takes some time, but it probably doesn't want to pick it up. You'll see that it's not logging in, and you'll see that not login. It takes a lot of time. Like you won't be able to see that. Even if you had, yeah, see, it's just taking too long. It's not picking it up. There's your network error. So that's why it won't be able to work. So you're going to log in with your account, your ESXi account, your admin account, right? Your root account. And then once you give yourself your password, you should be able to log in. So here's the PuTTY account that I was talking to you about. And you know, once you have your PuTTY open, you're gonna run 3 codes, and the first code is remove, right? And you're gonna remove, um, and this is within the shell, right? So you're gonna be inside the shell itself. If this is sort of all the files within. So if I list all in a list, all right? It should give me all the files that are in here, right? So this will give me all the files, right? And the first file we're gonna go into is the EXCT file, right? And if we, you know, go into the ESCT file, right? EC file. Um, I spelled that wrong. Anyway, so these are all the files that are there. Okay, and then again, we're going to be moving into the etc file, and then within there, we're going to remove some license and where the configuration of the license it sits. Just give me 1 second while I get that information from you. Okay. Didn't see that. So if I list this, okay, within here, oops, list it, right? I should have my VMware. So what I'm going to do is change to VMware, right? And then I'm going to list it. And then within here, there's a license file somewhere, if I'm not mistaken. There you go, the CFG file. So right there, this is the one that we're going to remove. Once that's removed, we're going to run a couple more commands. And then I'm going to go back to the main site. But that's the file that we're trying to remove. There's another file too. I just need to log in to see where my file. So my VMware license, it's the VMware license that we're going to be removing first. VMware license. Okay, so first things first, we're going to remove the VMware license, and that might be in white, right? So the VMware license might be installed. So we'll type this in, remove space dash ESCT VMware slash VMware. And this is the first one that we're going to try to remove. And this is a license file. And then we'll try to remove the config file. So this is the first one you want to remove. If there is no file, that's fine, no problem. We'll go ahead and just remove the license. All right, so I'll have that license config file. If I do that, just rename the license config file. License, and just press tab, enter. And where it says remove, let me make this a little bit bigger. You'll see here at the bottom, you'll see where it says remove, right? Uh, from here, your answer is going to be yes. So Y for yes, and then enter. Oh, right. Should be oh, remove. That should be working now. And then we'll go back to our should list it. If we list it now, it should work. Let's list. Let's go back to CD / etc / VMware and ls. And we are going to remove the license. It should work. Should work. License.config remove. Yeah, that's all right. Any spaces? And I'm in the wrong path. That's why it's not working. Okay, so I'm in the wrong path. I need to do it within the main path. So as you could probably see, it's not working because I'm in the wrong path. So I have to go from the main path, not the sub path. So I'll do this and cd dash dot dot cd dash dot dot. All right, so now I should be able to run that command again. That's my remove license config, and then this is where I can say yes and then enter. So I've now removed it. All I need to do is go back, ls dash ls, and then type in the path ECT / VMware, because that's where the path is. And you'll no longer see that path number there, which is good. Perfect. Once that's done, We're gonna lscct, which is what we did. That's the last command that we're gonna run. So that's gonna be our third command. So we have a remove ECT um, VMware instance, our first command. Right? I listed the command. So our first command is v license. If it's not there, don't worry about it. That means that it's not in that folder. It's okay. If it's there, okay, fine, perfect. Just delete it. If it's not there, not a big deal. Just make sure you see that license.config. That config file will have that license. Um, you know, should be in there, and then remove it. You should be able to type yes. Just remember that uh, it should be in the main file, not the old file, but it looks like it took some time. It looks like it wasn't picking it up here, which is kind of weird. Maybe because of the spaces or I misspelled something, but that's fine. Oh, no, sorry. This one's, I can't remove. This one here is license.config. Uh, it seems like I wasn't able to find something or something was wrong, misspelled. Um, it looked like it didn't work the last time, but that's fine. We got it. Um, it looks like it removed it automatically, so I'm happy that worked. Just keep trying. If it doesn't work, don't worry about it. It'll try. That's the whole point of this. You might not be perfect the first time, but you always get it. You'll always get it the second time. So once that's done, we should be able to reboot the system, right? So what I'm going to do is reboot the ESXI machine. So I'm going to reboot, and that'll reboot the server. So if I go to the server now, you'll see that it'll reboot shortly. Once that's up and running, um, yeah, so you'll see it'll close that. That's fine. We'll just close that because we don't need that no more. Um, this will probably not work anymore. That's okay, right? And once that machine is up and running fully, this is when we're gonna grab the two machines if it lets me. Once it's up and running, it'll probably let me, but let's just wait till this finishes. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this wait. I'll be right back. Just loading all the services in the back end, not a problem. As you see, this won't work, so just gotta give it some time to load. That's fine. We'll just wait till this finishes, so we log back in again. All right, so that's fully up. Perfect. Control Alt to get out. Go to the server and do one more refresh. Log back in. Okay, logged into my ESXi host client. And this is where it'll your evaluation license has expired. That's fine. Um, I'm going to take both machines right here, and I'm going to hold them, and I'm going to power them both on, right? Okay, let that power auto on. And then from there, I'm going to go back to here, and I'm going to exit maintenance mode. And there you go. There you have it. There's your two machines. Fresh. And power on. And if we go to manage, we go to licensing, should be able to power these on now. But because I was already licensed, that's why it's probably not working. But anyway, we would go through the same concept again, right? This is how it all started. Um, right. Data store. See what's in my data store now. But again, do it one at a time. Because I've already done this before. That's why it's failed. So it looks like I can't do it more than once. So it won't allow me. But again, I would go ahead and do the same thing. I just, again, this is where you would basically do it, right? So when it says license key is expired, that's when you do it. I was already licensed, so I couldn't, I sacrificed this machine for you guys, but it works. Trust me, it works. Again, it works, right? So all I need to do is power this machine on, right? If it lets me, and obviously it's not going to let me because of the complete errors that I got. So let's see if I can power back on again. Should be able to auto power start, but if I power this on, no, it won't let me. Okay, so again, that's how you would go ahead and do that. And refresh, refresh. Refresh. All right, let's try this one more time. Let's see if we can do this one more time. So this is where the error came. If I type in putty, and let's run those commands again. But before we do that, I need to enable actions, maintenance mode. Yes. Actions, service, enable secure. Let's try. Hopefully it lets me. If not, again, this is where you would do this. When you do this, I think it allows only once, but again, you guys kind of get the gist of things. You won't be able to log into your machines, so you need to put this in, um, you know, for those specific actions, right? So, make sure that they're enabled in order for this to communicate with each other, right? And once they're communicating with each other, they should be able to log in, right? And then accept. And then I should log in. Okay. Doesn't log in. Oh, But this is how it's supposed to work, right? Exactly how it's supposed to work. And this is where this is the position that you're gonna be in. Once you're in that position, you'll understand what I'm talking about. When you see that failed to power on the machines, it's because you need to put those in. And am I not able to? What happened? I should be able to. My host, will go down here. Uh, enable. Okay. So if I put my password in, there you go. And again, we're gonna remove the VMware license file and then the license config, VMware. Make sure there's no spaces. I'm going to make sure there's no spaces. And this is where I do that. Okay, so can't remove it because it's not there. Now, this is where we're going to put the license.cfg. And I'm going to say yes. And then I'm going to go ls-etc/vmware. And I do not see my license. Perfect. And then I'm going to say reboot. And that's it. I'm going to reboot it. So we should be rebooting. So here's what happened the last time. Here's what happened the last time. So I didn't have it. I didn't have that file there. I did the same thing, and it looks like it again. It looked like it worked right once I powered on those machines, and then I clicked here for more details. So to see if that worked, and then I grabbed those two and I powered them on, right? And then I was able to power on the machine. And I was supposed to exit, which is what I did. And then you'll see you're currently using the ESXI in evaluation mode. This license will expire in 60 days. So I'm not sure what happened there. It could have been because I've already licensed it and that's what happened, but it's okay. It's just a test machine. That's what you're going to do, and that will 100% work. I should have just started the video when I had the error, but again, I was so happy I wanted to show you guys. It does work. All right, so let's see what happens. Let's wait for this machine to pop up. This machine is not popped up. Let's see what we can do now. I think this will tell us to log in again. Fine. Oh, all right. So here's our machines, right? And we're going to exit maintenance mode from the host. Actions. There you go. So you'll see that you're currently in ESXI in evaluation mode. This license will, as you can see here, that's what happened. There you go. And I was able to fix that problem again. So again, this you could do this more than once. So this is the second time I did this, so I was able to do that twice, which is kind of cool. Um, but I recommend getting the licenses to get the features and whatnot that you have. But this is a way to turn on the machine. So I'm going to go ahead and power on the machines. But before we do that, we need to select all two machines and power those on automatically, which now successful. As you can see, the last time it wasn't successful. So we had those errors before, and now we don't. So that's completed successfully. Once those machines are powered on, I should be able now to see a power sign. There's my BIOS. I suspend, click, press any key. I think it's doing something. I think it's just boot. Let's see if I get into boot mode. Maybe. Oh, it's not starting up anything because there's no OS. So what I'm going to do is power off the machine completely. I'm going to power off. And those are powered off. So I'm going to shut off. And if I go into the properties or actions, and I want to go to the settings, I want to give it some more memory. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it GB, and I'm going to give it 2 sockets. That's all it allows me to do. Well, because all I have in this machine, that's fine. 2 sockets. Okay, there we go. I'm going to enable that. And memory, I give it 6. Hard disk, I'm okay. 50, just for now. Okay, there's the disk file. That's going to be in our data store. So that's going to be in our data store section there. And then we're going to load our ISO, right? So I should be able to move them now, hopefully, because I'm out of maintenance mode, right? So this should work. Yeah, see if it worked. Okay, good. All right, perfect. 2022, 2019. So we're going to download 2012 or 2019. Let's download 2019. So I feel like it. And simple. What we're going to do now is when we turn it on, okay, when we turn it on, we need to click inside the machine to boot from CD DVD, right? So just remember that's how that works. Okay. Right, just remember. Right, and we can send keys here. All right, so if I power on the machine, I'm going to reset it. It's fine. Should work. Right. Oh, let's see what happens here if I. All right, so I'm going to ensure that my why is it loading? Um, there we go, connect. So maybe that's what it was. So it's 150 and the connect button. Okay, so thought it was because I moved it from 90 to 150, but again, this is the data store. I forgot to connect that. But just make sure when you're doing that, guys, you're connecting at power on, right? And you're connecting that, and that's the media. You're not gonna do it all the time, but it's just once you need to do it. But then you can go ahead and remove this section here, but just make sure it's connected, it's turned on and connected at power on, right? So if it doesn't, then it won't work, and that's why we're getting that error. So I'm gonna go ahead and restart it. I'm gonna go to power, I'm gonna reset, and then I'm going to, there you go. So I should work now. And then I'm gonna click enter, and I'm going to install the server. So I'm gonna go ahead and install the server. Remember what we said, just have two physical disks in this hypervisor. So just remember you have two disks in the supervisor, two disks, right? One one's going to be for the OS and the rest is going to be for the reason why we're doing it, right? So remember that. This is where we were able to um, ensure that the license was working, right? So I'll go ahead and finish installing the server itself, right? So just make sure that you're aware that it's there. You see how it's October 1st, 31st. So that means that it's installed. It's good to go. All right. If you did have a license, again, you would purchase the license and you would purchase it. We recommend that you purchase it, but in this test environment, you're just working on a test environment, right? So it's not like you're running a big store, or you're running thousands or tens and thousands or hundreds of thousands of devices or applications or OSs or images and whatnot. So you want to make sure that you purchase the license um, accordingly to what it was, right? This domain should have worked. Let's see if I'm correct on this one. Oh, remember, you sometimes I typically what I do is I go through what the domain says. The domain is um, what helps with spelling, right? So I use the domain a lot. You don't have to, but this will help with the spelling of it. Like, so sometimes it is case sensitive. So, it's always good to, I use this instead and I copy this so that I'm okay with that. Um, and then to join the domain, I'm going to put in my join the domain. So that should work now, hopefully. All right. And the domain should work. But okay, let's let's see what's going on here. Um, so what I'm going to do is make this a little bit bigger, the screen. Okay. And I'm going to change the time and date to, this is where you're going to use your city or your geography city. So for example, we can use US or Canada or whatever city that you want. Um, Back to the top. English, English, English. Right, so there's many types of Englishes. In this case, you can use Canada. You can use whatever English that you have. Everybody's got a secondary type of English, but in this instance, we're going to use US for the US, and then this is going to be our Canadian. So actually, no, because it's our Canadian server, we're going to put in Canada based on the nomenclature that I gave it. I'm going to click next. Now I'm just going to install now. All right, so this is pretty quick. Remember what we talked about? We have our desktop experiences, which is our evaluation, which is, let's make this a little bit bigger. So the evaluation license is the full graphical environment for standard, right? And then there's your standard evaluation, which is your manage it with command prompt and PowerShell or remote, right? We call that remotely with your admin center or other tools. So everything's done within that, and we use sconfig and whatever commands that we need to in order to get this done. In a small environment, to make this serverless and to make this quicker, you would choose the standard evaluation, not the desktop experience, but we want you to be interactive in this class. And because this is our data center, we're going to use the data center evaluation copy, right? And for our full Windows graphical environment, and this is going to be our data center. Well, we're going to accept the license terms. Next. Custom. We're not going to format any of these drives. So this is going to be one full format, like I said. Did I add an extra drive? I should have added an extra drive. Did I not add an extra drive? Did I? Let's add an extra drive. Yeah, let's add an extra drive. Yeah, I'm gonna quit. Close that. And I'm gonna go back to close this. And I'm going to turn it off. Power off. Power off. Yes. And I'm going to go to hard disks. And I want to add it settings, and I want to add another disk. So I'm going to add another hard disk. Okay. I'm going to add a new standard hard disk. This is going to be like for logs and files or whatever applications I want to install, or any logs or transactional files or anything that requires its own separate storage, right? That doesn't affect the physical hard OS, right? So this is not something that's not OS related. Okay. Right. And I typically give it a terabyte. Doesn't mean that I have a terabyte, but again, I typically give it a terabyte. And we're gonna do thick provisioned, right? Again, thin provisioned, right, for a test environment. I've explained all this already between thin and thick. In a production environment, I typically see thick provision, eagerly zero. But again, thin provision because we're in a test environment. I don't think there's anything else I need to add. And the location, it's going to rename it. So it's probably going to put in the same server location, which is what we want, right? So that's going to go ahead and create that. Yeah, it's reconfiguring it now. So that's perfect. Perfect. Um, Just missed that. That's an error. One thing, another thing I need to notice about that's because the password. Okay, that's fine. It's a story. I'll have to figure out that. Okay, so like I said, there's let's just change it. My Active Directory. Again, don't do this. Obviously, your Active Directory. Um, that's filters. Should have your community data center. So my shared folders. Go back users. Okay. So I'm going to reset my password. All right. I'm gonna change it. So I'm just going to leave it that one there. See what happens. All right, done. I'm gonna refresh it. Domain level. All right. Refresh this. This is pretty quick, so I should be able to. Should work. There we go. There we go. So I've now joined all the domains here, right? And I can put my users here. I can add a user here and give it that, you know, right? I want to add my users here. And get a password. So that'll be my done. Add. All right. That's my ESXI user. Um, uh, roles. All right. Add a role. I can add a role here. And then this is my full rights. Dash. And then my lockdown mode. I can disable that if I want to. Okay. All right. Let's see if log out and then log back in. So let's power this on now. Okay. Let's reset. Reset. Remember, log in. Black. There we go. So I'm gonna load those files, and we're gonna choose the data center. This is most interactive you're gonna get, right? So just remember that. This is the interactive session that you're gonna get out of this. And I'm just gonna leave everything as is. Next. install. And I should get the second disk, if I'm not mistaken now. Hopefully, that I powered that on. Should give me the second disk. Make this a little bit bigger. And I'll take the data center desktop, which is, I've already explained all this. Next, and I should get that second disk now. Yeah, there we go. There's my gig. I haven't turned it online yet, but I know I have it, then I can turn it on. I can activate that through command if I want, or even in general, right? We can activate this in command, right? Right. Yeah, but I'm not going to do that. Again, there's different ways. I'm just going to go ahead and install the software on 0 and leave 1 on. Then click next. It's just the operating system. There's nothing spectacular about this for now, so it should be good. And while that's running, should be quick now. I'll give it some more RAM. From the 24 that I gave this hypervisor, right? Uh, so so there you have it, guys. It's pretty straightforward, right? So, I have these two machines, and this is my machine. This is my machine that we're going to be, right? We're working on, and this one has its two disks, right? And this is where my OS is gonna sit, right? And my operating system is, like I said, OS is Windows 2019 server, right? So that's that's going to be the server, right? So that's going to be my server is going to be, this is going to be one of my machines that are going to sit there, right? And then again, it has to communicate, and there's, again, that's going to be on my hypervisor right now. And again, I would have two of those for high availability. They would be two or three, right? So, you have your active and your passive, or your active active, or you can have an active passive witness. Um, 3 tier approach would be good in specific situations, right? But this machine can have thousands of machines in here, right? And this machine would have, like, again, it would have, like, you know a ridiculous amount of CPU, right? Ridiculous amount of DRAM, right? And a ridiculous amount of, storage, right? So just remember, this machine is going to be powerful machine, in a virtual environment, and this is our hypervisor, right? Hypervisor 1, right? In a real environment, right? But we're going to call this a hypervisor 2, because it's our hypervisor 2 software is Workstation Pro. And right, just remember that, how that's going to work, and that's going to have our operating system. So our operating system here is the ESXi software that we installed, right? So that's the ESXi version that we had, and that's what we installed on that one. And our Windows 2019 server is being installed on this machine here, right? Again, we're gonna have multiple of these machines here, um, multiple, right? And then we have our data stores, and that's our data store, right? So if we search the browser data store, I have my files here, right? Like, these are my files. These would be my two disks, right? Um, Wish I could make this bigger. smaller maybe? Oh, there we go. I'm able to cut that. There we go. Oh, it's been a while. Okay, so like I said, you have your ISO images, right? If you look at your ISO images, this is where we're going to install our configuration manager. And I think I'm going to go with the 2403 for now. Um, and again, I have my different services. It's going to be our primary. It's going to act as our primary site, right? And that's going to be our primary site server. We're just going to install a software. We'll probably install that as a primary site server. So that's going to be fun. And go from there. It's my plan. So in the meantime, I want to wait till this finishes. Take a little bit of time. This is all nested environment, right? So it's a little slow. So this might take a little bit slow because it's using up a lot of this. Well, not the storage, but it's using up a lot of the memory right now, the physical memory that's on this machine. I think I gave it 6. So again, it's not the best, but it does its job, right? So recap, just remember when we're licensing these machines, as you can see, the license will expire in 60 days. Then we'll go to manage here. And if we go to license, we should have our license expired in 2 more days. So this will give us ample time to troubleshoot our MECM-PS server that I'm going to show in my next video. And I will tons of videos on the go. And then here's my server. This is going to be my server, right? And then this will host my MECM-PS. And then we'll have an application server or whatever server, secondary site server, whatever different nodes that we want to create. So again, just big infrastructures, require bigger things. But again, you're not going to you can image your machines and your laptops in an on-premises environment, but you're not going to image your OS images or golden images from your OSD deployments from Azure or from the cloud, right? So it's not going to work. So that's the only difference. But again, this here is pretty typical. We're close to finishing it. Just remember when you're doing these, you're upgrading your license. I want to make sure that you're entering it into maintenance mode first, and then enabling the SSH, right? And I showed you guys how to do that from the virtual machines area itself, right? So when you hit the actions, you're going to post actions, and enabling, you're entering in, and then you're also enabling these 2 services, right? So if these are not enabled, again, you won't be able to open your PuTTY. So here are the commands. The 3 commands again are, and I'll copy these here, and I'll even write them down in our it's going to be the 3 commands here. See if I can copy this. Okay. So I'm going to paste. So I'm going to paste this whole thing here, and again, log in with your root, and this should be done on the machine itself. That's on the CMVMnet as your ESXI, right? Just make sure you're doing it there, or you're able to connect to it, right? Because if you can't connect to it publicly, then it won't work. So these would be the 3 commands that you're running. right? You're running your RM VMware license. If there isn't a file or directory, don't worry about it. Move on to the next one. You're going to remove the license.config file. Uh, make sure it's there. You can run the ls command to run it to see if it's there. Run it from there, but just make sure that you cd you cdd space out of there, right? Because you need to make sure you're in tilde your root, and then from there you run the last command, which is uh, reboot, right? And then this all needs to be done in reboot. So once, if it's accepted, the license config, it'll say remove. You just need to press yes. Uh, if you need to make sure that it's there first, just run an ls-l command, which will kind of show you the different paths, and it should be located here around the L area, log underneath log filters. If it is not there, then you won't be able to, you know that it's been removed, right? And then that's where you're gonna obviously reboot the machine, reboot the ESXI machine. Once the ESXI is up and running, I want you to go back and refresh, log back in, log back out, remove yourself from maintenance mode, power on the two machines, right? Power these on, selected power on, right? Power on, and then go ahead and click on that, and then power on that machine. But ensure that you're ready to go. You're getting ready. When you are configuring these, you're configuring them to the specifications that we talked about, right? Because that's important. Um, one, two, three, and four. Those are the four commands. So as you can see here, I just did it. I just did one just to be, but again, everything can be different, right? You're gonna have more CPUs, right, to play with, right? So the more CPUs you have in your, or how many cores you have in your, the more CPUs and sockets you can play with. I just ensure that this is hot add, right? If you have any shares, any IOMMUs that you need to add, any performance counters, any hard disks, make sure that they're thin provisioned in our test environment. Again, it's going to be different, and just make sure you're giving it the right path, and you're saving it in the right path, right? So typically, you'll save it in the in the data store, right? So the specific data store that's located. Right? So you'll want to ensure that it's set there and nowhere else, right? And your applications are set within your data store browser and whatever else files and servers and pictures you want to put in. Again, this is all my ISO images. Again, you can have pictures in here if you want. You can have documentation in here. You can have whatever you want, right? And then that's that. Close that. So here I'm going to set up my admin password, my local admin password. Just make sure you type it the right, and it's the same. And this will finalize our settings. And there you have it, guys. And then within here, you're going to go to actions, and you're going to give the Control-Alt-Delete keys. Here it is. Send keys, guest OS, send keys, and control and install VMware tools, right? So Control-Alt-Delete to log in. And we're going to install log in with our machine. Enter. Oh, didn't work. Didn't give it internet yet, but that's fine because I didn't set it up. But it's okay. But we did give it not, right? So we should be able to. All right, there you go. There you have it. Should install. I should install. Not necessary, but I can install the uh, VMware tools if I want to. Uh, doesn't matter, but it's an option, right? Let me make this full screen. This is should have two adapters. Did I give two adapters? I should give it two adapters. It's another thing is give it two adapters. Did I give it two adapters? I go to change adapter options. If I have one, no, I did not. And then here I can give it NAT, right? Or TCP/IP. It should be able to, yeah, see, it's obtaining the DHCP. So, is this joined to the domain? Is this joined to the, let's see if this is joined sysdm.cpl. Might have to join it to the domain. But you guys kind of get the gist of it. Just remember, another thing I want you guys to do is give it to two, but I also want to give uh two network adapters, right? And that's important. That's very, very important, right? Okay. Um, one can act as our um, you need internet, right? So so what I'm gonna do, and I want to double check if I have two network adapters or not, right? So there we go. That's good. This dm dot cpl. Enter. Should work. Um, System properties. Let's go system properties. Where are you, system properties? System info. There we go. There we go. So right now this is a workroom machine, right? So we'd have to change it. So right now this machine would be our MECM-PS Canada, right? And I will have to see if I can give it a domain, join it to the domain. Right. Okay. This a little bit bigger, maybe. Yeah, there we go. So I'm gonna add it to the domain. Yes, Canada. Uh, what's going on? Okay. So the domain is okay. So this machine needs to be no. Power off. Power off. Power off. Let's see if I can get some. Okay, so if I go here, I want to see if I can add an extra network adapter. You know, right now I'm on the VM network. Okay, so that right there is done. And network adapter. That would be connected, connected, connected. So next, say, try now. Power on. Stop. Power it on. Be right back. Okay. So what I'm going to do is add this machine, if it's not already, should be Win server. If it's not already, to add it to the domain, right? So if it's not there already, I need to assign a DNS server for it. So what I'm going to do is add home. I'm going to say this is and I'm going to give it I'm going to give it one. me see. Console. And did I? Yeah, I didn't add it yet. So what I would need to do is let's see. Let's open here. See what happens. So I'm gonna put this here. Okay, so that means that I didn't create the reverse lookup zone, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a reverse lookup zone now. This is basically so be anywhere in the domain. It's gonna be IPv4, and I'm gonna put right. That's gonna be my ARPA. Next. Um, 10, 50. Let's say 20. So that's gonna be what I want it to be for now. Doesn't matter what I give it, as long as it's part of that. Right, and this will be that'll be there, finished. So now, once that's done, I'm gonna refresh. So that's part of our 16.20. It'll be 10 on our BL machine. It'll be one. First machine will be one, and then our next machine will be on top of that. So let's go back here. Let's create a new. Oh, let's create a new host, and I'm going to post the. That's fine. 20, and this will be, let's say one. Let's just say one for now. Actually, no, I'm just going to do 10. 10. 10 is the first one. 10 is the server. Okay. That's how I want it. That's going to be my name is going to be this. Right. And I'm going to call it Canada. Right. This is all going to be my, well, see Canada data center. And my campus, whatever. It doesn't matter what I call it. But again, this is what I want it to be. And I'm going to add the host. And there we go. There it is. So I should be done now. And I hope, if all goes well, this machine should join to the domain. Let's see. Join this puppy to the domain. Actually, this one is My apologies. This one has to be properties. This one has to be this one has to be properties. Properties. This one has to be. Oh. So I'm going to delete this. Delete. 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 This I'm going to delete. Delete. This is going to be my MECM server. My apologies. Else that's not going to work. So I'm going to delete this. And I'm going to create a new one. It's going to be. So it's going to be Canada. Right? Pod. Production server. And then I'm going to have my. It's going to be my number there. Host. Create. Done. So once that's done, I have the name finally. I'm going to, now that I've added it to the domain, I should be able to do an NS lookup, see it's communicating or not. So I'm going to do an IP config. Okay. And then I'm going to go NS lookup, see if that works. Yeah, looks like it's resolving. It's resolving. Perfect. Okay. Let's do a IP config. So it's resolving. Okay, good. So I'm going to ping MECM-PS and that, right? Let's make sure that that's spelled properly. Okay, that's right. Let's see what happens. See if that's pingable. No, that. So let's go to and then reflush. Let's do a register. Flush DNS, register DNS. between it. Right? So let's do this. Let's do this. Config dash flush DNS and then register DNS. Register. See what happens. Let's see. Connection. So what I get to do is go to my server here. Ethernet adapters. . here, and I'm going to properties, say like DB6, properties on IPv4, here, and I'm going to go 172.162.16.20.10, and the IP for the DC is DC's IP. Okay, so the DNS, the DC is okay. And let's go back here. And so let's put the subnet mask 552552550. 0 and 2.168.110. DNS is 192. And then it'll quit. So let's go here. I'll go to here. Here. I think. All right. Okay. Let's see what happens now. There you go. I got network. All right. So I got the network. All right. And so let's go ahead and go to full control panel home. Let's go to system. Go to see the name of his computer. Let's go to here. And I'm gonna name it MECM-PS PS the oh, change paste domain go to the computers 2.local. Make this a little bit bigger. I hope you guys can see that. I'm sorry, I apologize if you're not able to see that. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger. All right, so that should work now. There we go. So I'm in the domain. So join my machine to the domain. So as you can see, guys, I tried going with a different IP address in this one. Don't ask me why. I just did. I created another lookup zone, a reverse lookup zone with a class B. Hopefully it doesn't give me any problems, but again, I'm just troubleshooting this. I like doing stunts. This is just a little stunt that I wanted to do. Um, nothing, you know, right, with a class B IP. Again, I'm just trying it out. I could have just kept it as is. I'm surprised it's working, right? And I've given this machine's name to MECM, and that's our primary site server, and that's going to be in our Canadian data center, right? So again, I'm just playing around with it for should just a stunt, just to try it out. Again, I don't know what it's going to be like, but again, I thought I'd just try it out. There's a lot to uh, learn on the go as these are just some stunts that I'm trying. I've different environments they work in different environments for different reasons, but again, in this specific reason, I'm still troubleshooting this and trying to figure out what's going on. um so I I'm going to continue to see what's going on and why it's not working. But yeah, this is just a stunt. Again, I can always go back to the original IP addresses that I've given it and use our domain controller as our gateway and domain controller as uh our DNS preferred DNS. But again, it's all up to um the hypervisor, right? So the hypervisors uh, working on a 100.7 static IP address, and then I have my VMs working on a class B IP address. So it can be a little bit confusing, but again, I'm just trying some stunts and seeing if that works. If it doesn't work or it does work, it doesn't really matter. We tried it. Um, if not, I'll go back to my old IP. I'll go to my old IPs. Um, I wonder if again things happen, right? It's for the this is all stunts that we're trying out, right? So uh, it's always good to try these things out in your own environments and try them out together, right? And come up with a solution and a plan together, right? So I think I have my network adapters. I'm not sure what's going on. Uh, should work. Should both connect. Okay. So anyway, let's take a look at Okay, that's good. So that's good. Bigger. Okay, so let's log in. And I haven't fixed VMware tools yet, so let's go ahead and try to fix that. So okay. VMware. So let's put in send my keys here. Okay, that'll allow me to sign in. Let's see if it allows me to sign into my domain now. There you go. Is my machine name fixed? Let's see. Yeah, my machine name is fixed. It was an odd situation, but we got it fixed. It's perfect. So I'm okay with that. So I'm going to go ahead and put my admin here, user, and I'm going to sign him in, get his profile working, and I'm going to throw VMware tools now. Okay. And hopefully that picks up. Remember, guys, this is my server. In my next video, I'm going to VMware tools. We're going to go ahead and go through the process of getting our primary site up and running. Right, and I wonder if the ping's okay. Let's see if I'm able to ping. Happy it works. Administrative tools. What's this? PowerShell command tools, accessories, system. There it is. Okay. So I'm going to run my IP config /all. Let's see if the IP picks up. See, it picks up my host name. It picks up my IP. Okay. So I'm glad it works. Everything's good to go. Let's see if it does an NS lookup. Oh, NS lookup with two O's. NS lookup with a U. So it looks like it's resolving IPs to IP addresses, right? So that's good. Perfect. Okay, and my tools. I'm gonna go with the complete. Next. Make this a little bit bigger for you guys. Next. Finish. So I got a lot planned up. Eventually I'm going to, install my vSphere client and create my data center in there and get my ESXi hosts up and running. Then I also want to, well, we're going to have one for now. Again, I know this is not best practices, but we'll go ahead and install the MECM-PS. And I think I'm going to install the 2403 version. It gives me a little bit of playing with that 2403, and it'll give me another two more, so I'll play with that, and then I'll update it to 2409, and then I'll update it to 2503, and if 2509, when the next one comes out, I should have another 6 months to play with that aspect there. So right now I'm going ahead and installing that. There's not really much to see, but that's it. I just want to thank your time for having me. and I will see you guys in the next video. You'll see us shifting in a second, but it's just going to play with the drivers. This will fix itself in a second. There you go. I want to thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Finish. And yeah, I think that's it for now. Okay, guys. I think I'm going to end it for now. I want to thank you guys again for having me. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the comment below. I know it was just a little extended. It was a little bit back and forth. It was going through some errors. I was doing a lot of stunts here, but it's been a while. So I got the ESXI going, got back my own system, showed you guys how to do that. I'm wanting to show you guys for a long time. There's some old servers that you have, like there's some old servers that I have that I'm going to do the same thing again, with the vSphere clients and stuff. But for now, let's just focus on this one, and we'll go from there. I want to thank you guys again. Have yourself a great rest of your long weekend, and cheers.